grandfather up here. And I love that. If you say 3 words, I think the 3 words that come to mind for me, looking at the hip-hop generation, I would say identity, purpose, and direction. Now, what do I mean by that? Things have to be defined. In order to create movement, you must understand the distinction between movement and motion. All motion ain't movement. The main thing that has been extracted from the hip-hop community, and I'm piggybacking on what Brother Damien said, has been the blatant absence of a political movement.
That's right.
Now, understand where I'm coming from. I blame my generation. I'm real clear. It's not your fault. Because it's much easier to be, in particular, black adult men
That's deep.
who left you with no information. I'm talking to the young brothers now on how to be a man. Now, having said, now, if we all trying to get to a certain point, does it really make sense for us to argue, we in the car, who ran over the nail to get the flat tire? Feel where I'm coming from. Young people talk about the old heads ain't nothing, the old heads talk about the young people ain't nothing, that music ain't blah, blah, blah. And we sitting up here arguing while a white boy collects on both ends. The most important thing I want you to leave here where I'm coming from, you must have a political movement. Because if you don't, you cannot sustain anything you're doing because none of these things will be your institution. Now, I'll take it a little further what Kevin said. You've drug about 10 years, but I've been doing this 35. Look what I'm coming from. The nationalist community, for the most part, is a very burnt-out community.
That's right.
Now, let's be honest here.
Come on, Mtume.
And if we're not honest with ourselves, how can you understand what the pitfalls are? If I done lost a toe walking over there, why don't I tell you don't do that? The last thing, I'm sorry, I don't want to get on this, but you have to understand, I love y'all. So when it comes to that, because this exchange doesn't happen enough. You need to know what happened 35 years before you came here. You got to stop idolizing and deifying artists. That's number one. That's number one. They don't necessarily represent who you are.
That's right.
Because if you don't understand that, then you don't understand the manipulation. The enemy that you have to fight is a very intelligent person. You don't rule the world by keeping everybody else dumb. You are the most powerful generation that we've ever produced. Because you know the distinction I make with y'all and us? You ain't scared of white people. I'm talking straight up. At least most of y'all, I don't. The other thing is, our thing was always you got to be ready to die for something. Sometimes you got to be able to take it off for something. You have to create a movement. Because if you have no movement, you will have no institutions. And institutions are the things that maintain a value system. And I think that's what we're talking about here. What is going to be the value system of the hip-hop nation? Identity, you got to define who you are. Purpose, what are you here for? Most importantly, what is going to be your ideological direction?
That's right.